Good afternoon, and you're welcome to our live coverage from Thurles of Galway versus Limerick in this year's Under-21 hurling final. Well, some of today's players have already made the transition to senior inter-county hurling, but for most of them, today will represent their first opportunity to make an impression on the national stage. Well, with me to assess the talent on show and their prospects of victory today, we have Cyril Farrell and Tomas Mackay. Gentlemen, you're very welcome to the programme as usual. But first, let's get the view from Thurles, where Jim Carney awaits us.
Now, down here at pitch side, you wouldn't think it unless you were out here, but there's a stiff breeze blowing here. It's blowing from the Killinan end right down behind me here towards the town end. We've had showers of rain here today as well too, so there will be some water on the surface. It's not ideal for hurlers, but it is otherwise mild and very pleasant. Now, Jimmy Hartigan, the Limerick secretary of the county board, said to me here a few minutes ago, if Limerick don't win this here today, they'll have lost a whopping 9 All-Irelands in a row between county and club since 1973. While for Galway, of course, the big talking point is the absence through injury of David Tierney. Now, this flying wing forward is a huge loss here today. He's an exciting prospect, and Galway people here are saying, imagine if Kilkenny had to line out without DJ Carey last Sunday. That's how it is in the absence of David Tierney. Well, we spoke to him just a little earlier on, and I asked him how he got his injury.
Well, it's just in a challenge game, and I just went up to catch a ball and came down. It's just like a textbook tear, like they said. It's part and parcel of sporting, and just have to be optimistic about it. I think we have a strong enough plan to do the job on hand, hopefully.
A day or two, David, I believe you were given no chance of seeing any action today, but
we'll keep quiet here. You might see me coming along sometime along the way, but I'm optimistic. I did a bit of a fitness test there, and it's possible. We'll see.
And if you're to get a run with the footballers next Sunday, you will, of course, have a week.
Yeah, but with that said, the football, there's a lot of competition in it, and there's 29 pushing for a panel, and I've missed bones of 2 weeks, and I'd be extremely surprised, if I'm even talking, because there's such competition there, which is good to have, but that's just the way it is.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, well, David Tierney had, as he said himself, definitely been ruled out a couple of days ago. Now, seeing a little window of opportunity that he might play some part in that match. A big loss, obviously, Cyril, but there is a lot of talent in that Galway team nonetheless.
Yeah, David will be a big loss because he's the one, would you believe it, Michael, he's the only fellow really on that panel that has senior experience, which is very unusual, because under-21s would usually have a lot of seniors on. David is a big loss, but like he's not that long established, so like I would think Brendan Linsky and the guys, they know he's gone, so they'd have a good bit of talent to, like Galway won the minor All-Ireland last year, so they would have a lot of stuff to play with. Now they prefer to have him, of course, and like you have the likes of Jim McCloone in there, a full-back, brother of Eugene's, and also a son of Tom, one of the selectors. He's around a good while, plays at Athenry. Half-backline is strong. Hardiman, Derv and Morgan, they are capable of being very, if they get on top, Galway could win. Now they need a strong game from them up front. You have the two twins there from Athenry, again the regulars on and off the Athenry senior team. One plays centre field, other plays corner forward. They're quite good, and David Hoopin is very strong on the forwards, and young Joyce is, they can pick up scores, but like going into the game, you'd have to say that Limerick are the more settled team. They have the same 15 playing in all the Munster campaign and in the All-Ireland semi-final. They got an extra game against Cork as well, which should benefit them well. So they would be, I think, as well, in the supporters-wise, you probably when you look at the crowd on there, they're probably outnumbers, I suppose, Galway 2 or 3 to 1.
Yeah. We must also mention there Owen McDonagh at cornerback, son of former President Joe.
That's right, yeah. He captained a minor team that didn't win All-Ireland. He's a son of Joe, and Joe donned the Galway jersey for years as well. And this fella's a student in UCG, very good player, and I'd say he's a future senior player.
Yeah. From a Limerick point of view, Tomas, they also have players to keep an eye on here today, and a lot of talent, as Cyril said.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, and they had a very, very successful campaign in Munster, and they looked a very good team. Timmy Hurling on goal, he's already played minor with Limerick this year. He's played under 21, and he's also played senior throughout most of their league campaign, and some people would feel that he was very unlucky not to command his place in the senior championship team against Cork, and himself and Brian Geary at centre-back form a very good rear guard. Stephen Lucy at midfield. I suppose a lot of hope will rest on the shoulders of Mark Keane at number 15 and Brian Begley at full forward. Brian played in the under-21 football final this year. He'll be able to make amends today to get an All-Ireland under his belt, and it's a huge game for Limerick hurling, I would feel, Michael. If they were to get a victory today, added to the performance against Cork in the Munster Championship this year, it would make their future look very, very good indeed. And they've shown already this year that they have a very, very good squad. They're very closely knitted together, and I'm sure they'll do everything in their utmost to try and get victory, because their future in Limerick hurling depends on it.
Especially the fact that the senior team this year was a youth-based team, So if they could gel all this together is the point you're making.
Yes, I mean the senior team that has been there in the past has been there for a while, and there was a few absentees this year, so you're trying to blood new players, and the best way of blooding new players is get the experience of playing at minor and under 21 level, and to play an All-Ireland under 21 final. Certainly you will be able to pick out 4 or 5 players to go into the future and add onto your senior squad, and if they get victory today it will be a massive boost to them.
Well, the senior manager Eamon Cregan obviously would like to. How many players would he be looking for out of a team like this? 1 or 2 even would do?
Well, they say with minors, Michael, there's no guarantee, you know. But yeah, there's a few there already, you know. A few good performances today from guys maybe that are on the outside would get them maybe into a league campaign with Limerick, and after that their careers could take off at that stage. And like, you need to see players in action at the biggest stage, and an under 21 All-Ireland final is a huge occasion for these players. And if they give good performances, they have every right then to be brought forward to the senior team.
OK, Cyril, we just await the Galway team, who will be out shortly. And mentioning Galway, their manager...
Who are now just running onto the pitch. They met in 1987 in Cusack Park in Ennis, and on that occasion Limerick were victorious. A remarkable achievement by the Galway underage structure to be here for their 4th final in a row. They've lost the last 3, and obviously, just like Kilkenny, who were really determined last Sunday to win the All-Ireland title, Galway equally have that motivation. On your screens, Timmy Houlihan has built quite a reputation for himself this season as a goalkeeper at all levels. The Shannon Siders' defence has been strong and formidable, particularly the half-back line of Paul O'Reilly, Brian Geary and Willie Walsh. Midfield is the responsibility of John Meskel and Stephen Lucy, while the attack very much depends on the creative and scoring skills of the full forward trio of Donnacha Sheehan, Brian Begley and Mark Keane. Huge numbers coming in to watch this game as we take a look at the Galway selection for this under-21 All-Ireland final. The team photograph for tomorrow's paper, if Galway are the All-Ireland champions. They did the double, that is the minor All-Ireland and under-21 All-Ireland in 1993. Can they do it again? Well, the Galway defence contains names associated with the game of hurling for many years. For instance, defenders Diarmuid Cloonan, Owen McDonough and Derek Hardiman all performed admirably in their emphatic win over Offaly in the semi-final. Shane Donoghue and John Culkin are selected together at midfield, while the attack shows one change in personnel. Eamon Donoghue returns from injury and wins his place at wing forward for this, his very first game in the championship.
Getting top at half-time, going at say 7 or 8 up, we should be able to hold on. Most Cork or even traditional counties, a lot of them will go against the breeze and say, well, we have for the second half. Yeah. The only way you can win the breeze is if you win the game. If you win the toss and say play against it or with it, if you win the game, you did the right thing. And if you lose the game, of course, you did the wrong thing. Of course. But usually, like Galway, and traditionally would take the breeze if they won the toss.
How will Galway hurl this game?
Well, I know in Brendan Linsky, I think they'll be going in from the very first minute, like going into it kind of.
Atmosphere, great day indeed here in Semple Stadium. The under-21 final has grown in stature over the years, but never quite captured the imagination of the public until today. Today's under-21 final seems to be a rather special atmosphere. Match referee is Pat Horan from Offaly. This is his 3rd All-Ireland under-21 final. Limerick won the toss and decided to play from left to right. First touch of the final to goalkeeper Timmy Hurling. He survives a hefty challenge from the full forward, David Hubin, and that's going to be a free for Limerick. There was a little bit of confusion, in fact, because of just before the break there, because the toss was won by Donncha Sheehan, and he seemed to indicate from right to left, and then changed his mind to go from left to right to take full advantage of the wind. And indeed the referee had to check again with the captain just before the Aran Navian here to ensure that they were in fact playing the right direction. Galway sweeping back. Derek Hardiman. First free, and now the first sideline cut of the afternoon. Both of them favouring Limerick. Pick him up, Limerick! John Mescom from the Ahan Club. Nice skill by Shane Donoghue. Willie Walsh. There was a challenge there by the Galway player that was illegal. So yet another free, this time again favouring Limerick. Brian Geary, senior intercounty star for Limerick, just dropping that to the left and wide. Brian Geary, one of several dual stars. Limerick, of course, achieved the unique stature of winning both the under-21 hurling and football titles in Munster, along with this player, Stephen Lucy. Great catch by Brian Geary. Finding outside him Paul O'Grady. Good run by the wing forward. Hardiman comes across to challenge. Limerick tenacious in the challenge. But the accuracy not quite matching that. Davy Stapleton sending it to the left and wide. Operates more as a full forward or a corner forward. But interestingly enough, Limerick have selected him as a wing forward. Possession this time. Loose and free is Eamon Donoghue. That's a marvellous block down by Paul O'Reilly. Half hooked by midfielder John Culkin. And Galway win their first free of the game. These teams met about 6 or 7 weeks ago in a challenge match at the Gaelic grounds. In fact, just before Limerick's Munster final game against Cork, and the sides ended level. David Donoghue sends that over the bar. First score of the under-21 final of the new millennium. Puck out by Timmy Houlihan, losing that wind. David Stapleton trying to get it in towards his captain Donncha Sheehan. Paul McDonough had a hand on his back, and for a push on the Limerick captain, Limerick have a chance to equalise. It was quite a good intelligent ball to the corner forward, and it obviously caused Galway defensively a few problems. In fact, Pat Horn has indicated that that's going to be a penalty for a blatant push on Sheehan. It indicated first that it was just going to be a free, but Pat Horn looked at the position of Sheehan when he was fouled and decided that it was inside the large rectangle. So it is a penalty, and it has caused a buzz around Semple Stadium. Mark Keane 1-9 against Cork, 1-10 against Antrim, going for his first goal in the final. It's stopped on the line, and coming away with it is the Galway captain Stephen Morgan. And a little bit of agitation in the match now as Mark Keane drives this in, brilliantly stopped on the line by Owen McDonagh and cleared by Stephen Morgan. And the referee and the linesman at the far side had to come in very quickly, for passions were aroused, and the referee is already indicating that he's going to take control of this match. And that's going to be a booking for Derek Hardiman from Mulya. And the first yellow card of the game. And what resulted in all of that was going to be a free, but has now decided for what happened consequently is going to be a throw ball. Here come Limerick again. Look to be hurling confidently. And again it's O'Grady, and again Galway defensively are coming up trumps. Sideline ball for Limerick. There are plenty to talk about in the opening 6.5 minutes. 1 point for Galway, a missed penalty for Limerick. Eskill's sideline cut is not great. Paul O'Grady giving it to Willie Walsh. Loves to come forward and take a chance. This time inaccurate. And that's Limerick's third wide of the first half. Kieran Callanan's puck out. Well hooked, comes back towards Conor Dervan, sending it in low towards corner forward to Damien Joyce. Good play by Limerick, and particularly Paddy Rea. Hardiman showing his class out in the right wing, driving it in towards the big foot forward, and good play by Eugene Mulcahy. And that's the first battle won with a man who scored 3-3 against Offaly. That's Galway full forward David Hubin. It's going to be a throw ball. Linesman just having a little word with the referee, deciding it's going to be a throw ball. Comes in towards the centre. David Ford down towards Damien Joyce, and defensively Limerick are also showing great heart and skill. David Ford is fouled quite blatantly, and that's going to be a free for Galway. So Paddy Rea is shown a yellow card. That's 2 yellow cards we've seen, 1 to each side. Once again it's David Donoghue with a free, and the result is the same. 2 points for David Donoghue and 2 points for Galway. This time, Timmy Houlihan tries right down the middle. Picking up well is Stephen Lissy. The Croom man is the first to score for Limerick in the under-21 final. Senior player now, of course, with Limerick. Play cornerback in the Munster Senior Championship, Mark Shawnee McGrath. Much better now as a midfielder. Seems to relish the space. Well pulled on by David Ford. Runs out of space, goes off a Limerick player, and it's going to be a sideline ball far side. Shane Donoghue to take this. Flying centre half forward, Eamon Hyland. Great block down by Willie Walsh. Brian Geary. Race for possession. Well pulled on again. Ball falls kindly for David Ford. Foul, however, this time by Paul O'Reilly of Patrick Swell, and that's going to be a free for Galway just inside the Limerick 45. Lovely skill here by Ford, but no doubt about the challenge, very much illegal. David Donoghue scored 4 points against Offaly in the semi-final. He's well on his way to reaching the same target. But this is his third point in the opening half. All from frees. The break belongs to Limerick, at least initially. Davy Stapleton is in the centre there. I would imagine that's going to be a throw ball. Limerick have it again. Not for very long. Comes to Stephen Lucy. Nice overhead pull by Shane Donoghue. Eamon Hyland. Getting into his full forward, David Hooban, who was fouling Eugene Mulcahy, and Limerick gets the free. This tussle is actually very important between the Limerick full back and Galway full forward, and it could be a crucial factor overall. Timmy Houlihan has been playing for his club at Dare at senior level since he was 16 years of age. Tracking this in towards Brian Begley. Owen McDonough. Limerick have it. Mark Keane. And that's going to be a free. And Mark Keane is the danger from a Galway perspective. He really is quite elusive and always gets quite a number of scores. Top scorer for Limerick with 226 in the championship. Keane's confidence, I'm sure, will be restored after missing that early penalty. He gets his first point in the All-Ireland final. This is the foul on Mark Keane. Dermot Cloonan is the player accused of that particular illegal foul. Nicely picked up by John Culkin. Centre half forward Eamon Hyland. Gets himself out of trouble with a nice little tap out as David Ford. Putting it across to Hyland. Tries Hockenstein to deliver to a corner forward, but well read and anticipated. Brian Begley and Dermot Cloonan are having a great tussle at the moment, but the ball is nowhere near them. It comes, however, to Paul O'Grady. Nephew of Dublin hurling manager Micheál O'Grady. The hurling stature is unquestionably there, and the Patrick Swell clubman availed of the chance to register Limerick's third point. Sides level. Comes back as Limerick go for the lead for the very first time. A marvellous point. Shawnee O'Connor from Mahan puts his county and the Munster champions in front for the very, very first time. Stephen Morgan needs the assistance of David Ford, and Ford is fouled. The referee has just stopped play for a moment because he wants to check that Eamon Donoghue may require some medical attention. Colin Flynn, the team physio, is out there to check that he's okay. And Eamon Donoghue playing his first match for Galway from Mulla. He had a terrible problem with a groin and missed the semi-final against Offaly. Well, certainly this man has brought a lot of glory to Limerick in his second year in charge. Davy Keane from Passage. In fact, he won an All-Ireland Under-21 medal with his native county of Cork. This is Conor Dervin, last year's minor centre-back that won the All-Ireland. Centred wide. First wide of the game, actually, for Galway. And that after 16 minutes of play. Paul O'Grady causing problems for Stephen Morgan. Sending that in towards Brian Begley. The breakdown is for Donnacha Sheehan. Good anticipation again from Galway, particularly by Owen McDonagh. Brian Geary towards his wing forward Paul O'Grady, trying to feed Mark Keane or Brian Begley. And again it's Owen McDonagh that's doing a lot of tidying up. The ball is there for Galway, but it's Limerick that come away with it. Donnacha Sheehan, well pulled on. Great score. Davy Stapleton has been threatening a score, and that point by the clubman from Doon means the entire half-forward line have now scored for Limerick, and all from play. Donnacha Sheehan batted out to Stapleton on a first-time pull. The chants and the cheers are coming all from the banks of the Shannon. Sideline ball for Galway.
Come on!
Derek Hardiman. Limerick playing with great composure and confidence, both in their full-back line and indeed half-back line. Davy Stapleton's attempted clearance is blocked. And the linesman indicates it's a Galway ball. Shane Donoghue. David Ford. Trying to get inside the Limerick cover. It's a good run by Ford. Needs Highland, but the pass goes astray. And Paul O'Reilly clears his lines. Donnacha Sheehan, lovely little pick-up, and great defending by Jamie Cannon. Comes back again to the captain, in towards Mark Keane, battling with Owen McDonagh. Another vital tussle. Brian Begley finally has it, loses out, and the referee indicates that it is going to be a free for Galway as he picked the ball off the ground. This is a great block down by Jamie Cannon. Kieran Callanan. Stephen Lucy recovers and feeds Paul O'Reilly. But the pass was illegal, and the crowd disagree with the referee. He claims that he threw it, and the players protest as well, but the referee insists that it is a Galway free. Just outside 65. The free by Conor Dervin. David Hooven gets a touch to it. Pat Horan says, raise the white flag. Yes. Point for Galway. was aimed in the direction of the official in charge for giving the free in the first place to Galway. So we'll have to have a look at this again as that ball dropped in. Hooven pulled in it first time and went over the bar. Stephen Lucy lying on the ball. Galway manager Brendan Linsky has decided to change his wing backs. So now you have Derek Hardiman and Stephen Morgan on opposite wings, and Hardiman now has taken on the responsibility of marking Paul O'Grady. This game played with tremendous passion. Neither side want to lose this. Galway don't want the distinction of losing 4 under-21 titles in a row. Limerick want to win their first since 1987. This, remember, is only their second under-21 final. Not a good one by Paul O'Reilly. He gets it back though. Makes amends with a good delivery up towards Mark Keane and Brian Begley. Drew McCloonan does very well. A little bit anxious to get rid of it and runs into trouble. Here's Davy Stapleton, great run. Inside was Mark Keane, and centre half back Conor Durbin did exceptionally well and averted what would appear to have been a great goal-scoring chance. This game played at tremendous speed as well. That's going to be a line ball for Limerick far side. Very hard to tell here whether this was a point or not as the ball dropped in. Very, very hard to tell. Sideline ball by Willie Walsh. Free. Being pushed back an extra few meters. Willie Walsh is over there for Limerick. Comes back to Eugene Mulcahy. And tackled by David Ford. That's blatantly picked off the ground by Eugene Mulcahy. And there's a lot of agitation in the game just underneath the surface, and the referee and the other officials will have to keep a tight rein. Pat Horan is giving a free to Galway. Picking the ball off the ground, and the player there that is guilty of that is the fullback Eugene Mulcahy. David Donoghue going to take this, going for his 4th point of the match, and that is over the bar. Second time that these sides are level, but the booing in the match is something that should not, under any circumstances, be encouraged, and very much not part of any level of Gaelic games. But I think it's born out of 2 decisions by the referee that have been frustrating from a Limerick perspective. Eugene Mulcahy did very well here again. It's going to be a free for Limerick. Well, one of those decisions resulted in a point. So let's just see, was this a free or was this a throw? It seemed to me it was a perfectly legitimate hand pass. There's the execution. So the referee from that picture would be wrong. Timmy Houlihan. Defenders around him, and he wins a free. He's such a big man, 6'5", son of Pat Begley, former Clare footballer, And Brian Begley, a dual star, of course, played in the under-21 final against Tyrone earlier this year. Mark Keane to put Limerick in front again. With 25 minutes gone in the first half, Keane has a simple tap over for his second point of the game. David Ford. Damien Joyce cuts inside, trying to level the match again. This time just unfortunate. Sends it to the right. Less than 5 minutes left now in this first half. Damien Rail. Good defending by the number 2 from South Limerick. Paul O'Grady. The stick of Jamie Cannon stopped his run. Brian Begley comes out from the full forward position. Goes back out to Stephen Lucy, who is tripped, and that's another free for Limerick. This is the foul on Stephen Lucy. By his opposite, number 9, Shane Donohoe. Difficult angle for Mark Keane. Hits it well, and it's curling beautifully. His third point of the match puts Limerick 2 points in front. And Limerick well worth that 2-point advantage. Batting it down. John Culkin, Derek Hardiman, Paul O'Grady, they're all involved, but nobody wins clean possession. Donnacha Sheehan, the hurley goes flying in the air, belonging to Jamie Cannon, and it's going to be a sideline ball. Derek Hardiman, yet again, with the sideline cut. Sweeping it over to the far side. Damien Joyce. Inside is David Ford. Hogan is on the edge of the square. He mishits it, and Damien Rail takes it off the line. My word. How close can you come? For the very first time in this All-Ireland final, the Limerick defence was split open. Hogan had a mishit. Full marks as well to the keeper to come off his line so quickly. But Damien Rail will be the hero in Limerick if they win the under-21 title. Heart-stopping moments for the Munster champions. But the crowd thoroughly enjoying this first half of the under-21 final. Easily the best game we've seen at this grade at the final stage for a number of years. Dropping that ball in towards Brian Begley. Trying to scoop it out. Derek Hardiman. Surely was unfortunate not to get a free before that, and I think Derek Hardiman is protesting. Pat Moran is saying he had too many steps in his efforts to clear his line. But a certain amount of sympathy there for Derek Hardiman. Just over 30 seconds left in actual playing time. This is Mark Keane's perspective. To stretch the lead to 3 points, right over the centre of the crossbar. For Mark Keane's 4th point of the game. Points between the teams. We've now lost the slither here in Semple Stadium, and certainly a most enjoyable first half. Not a lot of the players breathless, but I think so too are the supporters here in Thurles. Kieran Callanan's puck out. Derek Hardiman again. Certainly that move over to Mark Paul O'Grady is paying dividends for Galway. O'Grady not as prominent. Ball hit off the referee. Bounces back in favour of Limerick. Hard hitting in this under-21 final. Comes down towards Jamie Cannon from Claren Bridge. Can Galway get a score before half-time? And more importantly, a goal to level things at the break. Not if Eugene Mulcahy has anything to say about it. Galway man knocks it down to a Limerick man who returns the favour by losing possession rather easily. This is Shane Donoghue, and it's a free for Galway. Stephen Morgan sends it over the bar. Galway captain from Loughrea gets his first point and reduces Limerick's lead to 2 points. The referee Pat Horn allows a minute and a half of injury time. There is plenty to talk about, including some marvellous scores, but particularly this pull off the goal line. Damien Rail, very much the hero for Limerick, at number 2 the cornerback, saved Limerick's blushes, and at half-time the Munster champions have a 2-point advantage here in Semple Stadium, Thurles. Limerick, the Munster champions, lead by 8 points to Galway's 6.
Wants the lead, but with the wind you would be expecting to have something like that.
Well, I think the wind is not as strong as what it may appear to be. It probably looks actually strong with the flags blown, but I actually don't think the wind is much of a factor today, to be honest with you. 2-point lead, we're delighted to be going in with a 2-point lead. We didn't expect anything different here. Galway, I think it's the 4th All-Ireland in a row. We expected to be pushing the pin of our collar here today.
You have a huge crowd behind you there. They really were roused by some of the scores, and your full back especially really doing his stuff.
Yeah, I must say Eugene is playing very, very well so far, but in fairness, like from number 15 down, we're defending fairly well. Crowd, yeah, with tremendous support, have to say. Hopefully behind us again in the second half.
Good game, thank you, David.
Thanks,
Let you back to the dressing room. Barney Costello, Galway selector. You have to be thinking about that goal miss just before half-time, Barney.
Yeah, it was a terrible miss, all right, Jim, but like, you know, we were playing badly. Our forwards doesn't seem to be getting into the game, like, you know. Our backs seem to be under a lot of pressure, like, you know, so hopefully we'll get it right in the second half.
Yeah, you mightn't mind all that much that it's just 2 points in it.
Yeah, we're happy enough, I suppose, the way things are going, and like, it took us a while to settle down. Like, it's a tough physical game, like, you know, and we're hoping that we'll get it right in the second half.
Thanks, Barney, best luck.
Thank you.
Limerick have won the first half, but can they win the match? Coming up after the break, we have an thing that hasn't opened up in this is the flow of hurling, but certainly it's full of passion. As Brendan Linsky talks to his players and gives them the final instructions while they wait for Limerick to come back out on the pitch. Just before we go back to Thurles, Brendan Linsky would have ambitions, Cyril, at some stage to be the senior manager in Galway?
Ah, yeah, down the line I would think he has another year to do under 21, and John Hardiman is after winning 2 All-Irelands in a row minor, and like they would be the future, I'd say, down the road.
Isn't it, Cyril? A long way to go yet. Limerick back in the field. Let's go back to Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael, and indeed you saw there Brendan Linsky passionate that Galway can win this All-Ireland title. No changes on the Galway side, and no changes on Limerick. It's been already a great year in Galway. All-Ireland minor hurling, vocational club title, National Hurling League, Railway Cup. Can they add the under-21? Is the big question. First attack leads to Donnacha Sheehan, and the Limerick captain ironically scores a point from play, his first, as if to say, Galway, you're not going to do it today. Great start by Limerick, sending a clear message to their opponents that the Shannonsiders mean business. And that against a reasonably strong breeze here in Semple Stadium. this ball in the direction of Brian Begley, who's discarded the helmet. He now seems to have taken up duty at centre-half forward, marking Conor Derby. David Ford, well blocked on by Willie Walsh. Taken up by Derek Hardiman. Now seems to be back in his old familiar role of right half back. And the right half back can score points. That's his first of the match. 2 points between the teams. Great run by Hardiman, who's certainly been most impressive, not alone in the tackle, but indeed in the scoring stakes as well. Comes straight down to our Stephen Lucy, knocked away by Eamon Donoghue. Lovely skill. Now who's going to emerge with this? Took a lot of hard work and a lot of grafting. It comes out towards Eamon Donoghue, and that has gone wide. Limerick, of course, had a long barren period, just winning 2 Munster minor titles in the last 34 years. It's a statistic that certainly causes a lot of grief down in Limerick. And they're doing a lot of hard work at underage level, inspired by the late Tommy Quaid when they put together a committee a few years ago. Here comes Davy Stapleton, giving it on to Stephen Lucy. Both have scored points. Both are combining here. Stapleton is brought down, and that's going to be a free for Limerick. For a Limerick side that at minor level didn't achieve much success, certainly their confidence is quite admirable. This is Markeen, and this is the angle he faces. Already scorer of 4 points in the first half. He taps that one over for his 5th point of the game. And once again, the difference is 3 points. Willie Walsh. He was devastating against Clare in Cusack Park and Ennis in the first round. Under pressure this time to hold possession. Eamon Holland does all the hard work. Shane Donoghue delivers the ball up to his full forward line. Damien Rea fouls his direct opponent. And that's going to be a free for Galway. Once again, David Donoghue comes across to take it. Difficult enough angle, it comes back off the post. Donoghue is there for the rebound. Eugene Mulcahy just gets a touch to it. Hits a fair shoulder off big David Hurling, and does enough to just put him off a little bit. Paddy Real is inside him. That's good play by Galway. Comes back outside towards Shane Donoghue, but he sends it to the left. Got a pass from his twin brother David, but unfortunately it results in Galway's 4th wide of the game. Timmy Houlihan uses the far over side, varying his puck-outs as much as possible. Galway have possession. Shane Donoghue pushed in the back. Free to the tribesman. It's a good free by Stephen Morgan. David Hoogan, Eugene Mulcahy again. It's a vital tussle, remember. Battle between the full back and the full forward. And so far, Eugene Mulcahy is passing the test with honours. Derek Hardiman going to take this sideline cut. He's down towards David Donoghue. Getting away from John Mesco. Out towards Eamon Donoghue, and that is over the bar. That's Eamon's first point in this under-21 final. And Galway come within 2 points of their opponents with plenty of time in the match. David Tierney, the dual star, warming up along the sideline. And what a huge boost he will be if he's able to contribute 15-20 minutes to his colleagues. Good play by Owen McDonough. It's a poor pass, however, comes back to John Mesco, who drives it to the right and wide, despite the acrobatics. Galway playing with a slight wind advantage, remember, in this second half. David Tierney is donning the helmet. The star from Leitrim, Kilnadima, tore his calf muscle in a challenge match between the under-21s and Sarsfields, and he can play wing forward or midfield. And certainly in a warm-up here in Thurles, he looked a little bit hesitant earlier in the day. By the end of the session, he seemed to be quite confident he could, in fact, contribute. Great block down, Willie Walsh didn't quite get behind it. Comes to John Mesco. Out to Stephen Lucy. Nice hurling. Up towards Mark Keane. Battling with Owen McDonough. In comes Shawnee O'Connor. It's there for Keane. It's in the net. Mark Keane. A goal and 5 points. The danger man all the way through from South Liberties. A club that has produced Pat Artigan and Joe McKenna in the past. The break came to the corner forward and Keane lashed it into the net. Nothing that Galway could do could prevent this score once it was set up for Keane, and Kieran Callanan had no chance whatsoever. At a psychological moment when Galway were going to bring in their ace, Mark Keane strikes at the very heart of Galway. Tierney is in at full forward, and Eugene Mulcahy welcomes his opponent, and David Tierney only laughs it off. A bit of gamesmanship, not to be admired, it must be said. But this is a man's game, and here comes Galway. Shane Donoghue, can they respond with a like score? Semple Stadium is alive with green and white flags, and a game of hurling that is passionate and spirited, and no place for the weak-hearted. This is going to be a throw ball. Well, after that tremendous period of passionate hurling, there were bound to be a few casualties. Eamon Hyland from Galway is out of shot. In shot is Willie Walsh. And Dr. Dave Boylan is in quickly to ensure that he can continue on. And of course, Limerick have a Cork manager. They also have a Cork doctor. The Limerick sisters are here in their full colour. hoping for that first under-21 title since 1987. Great block down by Willie Walsh. Brian Geary in a spot of bottom. It's put up to the Galway men now. David Donohoe. Put out over the line fairly by Stephen Lucy. And there is such a buzz around Semple Stadium. Limerick supporters pucking every ball, hitting every shoulder in this under-21 final. Brendan Linsky a little bit concerned. It was amazing that Limerick scored the goal at the very time that they needed the psychological boost of David Tierney's arrival. And your luck is in, your luck is in. Purely from a psychological point of view, of course. Here comes another free for Galway. It's a bigger test now for the men from Connacht. Stephen Morgan has already scored a point in this game. It's a minor on under-21 last year. Hits it with great power, but inaccurate. And Stephen disappointed, to say the least. Fifth wide of the game for Galway. From a normal team's perspective, isn't quite a bad statistic. In a close game like this, every wide is certainly a major loss to any team. Pat Horan has given a free this time to Limerick and to Mark Keane. Keane, minor, remember, last year. Sending that straight over the bar for a goal and 6 points. Well, I mentioned earlier in the match that he scored 1-9 in the replay against Cork and 1-10 against Antrim. He's now scored 1-6 in this under-21 final. Here's David Tierney. Defensively are playing superbly. Comes down to Brian Begley, getting there ahead of Conor Dervin. It's as if Semple Stadium has 50,000 people. And here is the captain, Donncha Sheehan, going for his second point of the second half, and is just inches wide. The puck out is very quickly taken. Down by Brian Geary, aimed at Brian Begley. The two players may have lost the under-21 football final to Tyrone. What an achievement that in itself was, getting to that stage. But they're certainly determined not to make it an under-21 final defeat. This is Davy Stapleton, and this is a wide. It looked for a moment it was going